Gamers! So today on Dice and Dragons, I'm Jason.
And I'm Julie.
And we're journeying into a land of high adventure as it's the Hyborian Age. And we're going to be reviewing Red Sonja, Hyrkania's Legacy. Now this is part of the Legacy line of games by Team Lynnvander. Now the game was designed by Thomas M. Grofton, Aaron Murch, and Josh Dirksen. Now I just want to highlight quickly, I did have some questions about the game and Josh was kind enough to answer them directly, so thank you very much. And the game is published by Jasco Games and Dynamite. Now I got all that out, somehow managed to not make any mistakes. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who's going to tell you more about the game itself.
So it's a cooperative game that's for 1 to 4 players and ages 14 and above. Plays in about 60 to 90 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the age range is probably right on that one with 14 and above. There's a fair bit of luck involved in this game, and I could definitely see younger players getting frustrated with that fairly quickly. Now, what are you going to be doing in Red Sonja? Well, we've got Hyrkania Castle, where the heroes start. You're going to be going on a quest, and you need to explore the land. And one thing I do like about that is no game is going to be the same. And as you move out from Hyrkania Castle, there's a specific sequence of tiles that you're allowed to place. You're going to explore the land, have encounters, and work to complete your quest, gain 5 reinforcement tokens in the castle to reinforce the forces of Hyrkania, and also not fall to despair, as you do have a timer running. And I think that sums it up fairly well.
Yeah, I think so.
So what time is it?
Time to grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend.
We're going to take it to the table.
We're going to take it to the table. So are you going to become the she-devil with a sword?
Of course.
So where's your broadsword?
In the box.
In the box? Okay. Well, we'll get it out then. Now let's take a look at the components for Red Sonja, Hyrkania's Legacy. And we'll start in the middle, then I'll showcase some of the stuff that I don't have on camera. But I really want to start with the castle, as I think it is a very cool component. Fits together well. The back part, at least in mine, is a little loose. And what I do really like about it is you do get a nice storage space for the castle in the box. So you don't have to worry about taking it apart. That's something that was very well done. We have the Stones of Chance here. As you can see, there are 6 different symbols. And you've got a 1 in 6 chance on each of the dice to get the symbol that you need. Now here we've got our characters. First, we'll just take a look at the standees. So no minis in this game. You've got different standees. Red Sonja, 1 for each of the characters. And then we just have a stack for all the guys that we weren't primarily using. And as you can see, we've got 4 bases, as this is a 4-player game, at least with the Kickstarter Deluxe Edition. Now let's take a look at some of the characters. We've got Red Sonja, Zoanna, Ayla and Nias, Lila, Gamble, Grat, Platius, Vertius, Braca, Osric, Osin, and Sumaro. And what I do like, just to highlight, you do get a little history on the character on the back of each of their cards, which I always like a little bit of flavor and ways to get us more engaged in the universe that we're playing in. Let me just straighten this up and just knocking things around here. And let's continue. Now we've got these action tokens here. Each character has 3 action spaces. You'll be flipping them over just to say when you have spent an action. Here we've got the wound tokens. As you can see, your characters can take 3 wounds. And then the destiny tokens, which allows you to re-roll the Stones of Chance. Now both of these can be healed easily by actions and refilled by your actions. We have a nice player reference card, which will tell you what actions will cost your action points, and then some of the different free actions that you may use. We also have the spare tokens, which essentially count down to the end of the game where we will lose, and the reinforcement tokens that we are required to get into Hyrkania Castle. They both go in there in order to lose or defeat the game. Now that we've gone over the hero section, let's take a look at the villains. Now we do have 4 major villains, and the villains we have, your sheets are double-sided. They can also only take up to 3 runes. There is their challenge. This is their retaliate, so if you fail a challenge against them, and what happens when they appear or if they have some other ongoing effect. Now these are double-sided, so for example, Cooling Gath is on the other side. However, they do have their own tokens. So we've got the Celestial one, followed by Dark Anissa on the other side, and then Sutek, who is in the deluxe expansion, with Savis on the other side. Now here we've got the standard enemy tokens. I just want to point out that these are all double-sided. You can see we've got 1 or 2, meaning when the game tells you to place 3 knights, you will be placing 2 tokens, not necessarily 3 enemy tokens. 1 with 1 knight, 1 with 2. If there are 2, they still need to be defeated twice. And as you can see, the undead as well. 1, 2. We've got the deep ones. We have snakes, which are added in the desert expansion. We have a witch. We have the Zeta. We also have, of course, demons. What's a sword and sorcery game without demons? And lastly, cultist, because who else is going to make the demons come into our realm? Now here we've got the equipment cards and item cards. Now item cards are one-use cards. Now you can get as many of them as you want, and then you will use them. After that, they will be discarded. This one will change the way you have encounters, and the rope will actually let you move freely. Now we also have the equipment cards, and I'll grab some of them here. And as you can see, it'll tell you what the ability that it gives, what type they are, as heroes may only have 1 piece of accessory equipment, 1 weapon equipment, and of course 1 armor. I'll just see if there's one at the top or nearby. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we've got some armor. So you can have armor, accessory, and weapon. Now, if they have an effect like giving you a permanent symbol when you're taking challenges, you'll see that in the top left-hand corner. You will also maybe see one that is just black, meaning that the armor gives you a special ability. In this case, when you roll a crown, you may re-roll any number of stones of chance. Now the cost to purchase these is up in the corner. You must spend enemy tokens at the market. We'll get into that. And that's really all there is to know about equipment. You can also acquire equipment cards through the different encounters. Now let's take a look at what we're going to be using to build the board. So we've got the different terrains: forest, plain, swamp, river, mountain, and desert. Now you'll notice that there are some special tiles. Each of these does something different. So these 2 right here are the healers. And just so you have a quick frame of reference, you've got the quick cheat sheet on the back of the rulebook. These represent the marketplace. This is the blacksmith where you may purchase back discarded weapons. Here is the reinforcement location where you may get rid of the spare tokens or add reinforcements to the castle. And once again, that was your healer, getting rid of all of your wounds. Now, as you'll notice, those are what the special tiles look like. Here's just an example of a standard tile of each type. I'm just going to leave them on top of the stacks. Now you'll notice that we also have a stack of cards for each region. When you enter a region, you will be drawing a card and going through the encounter. You will read the top part of the card. You will then undertake a challenge. And if you fail, well, you read what happens if you fail the challenge. And that's it. That's all the components that we have for Red Sonja Hyrkania's Legacy. So keep it right here, and we're going to be back with the setup and how to play. Now let's take a look at how you set up Red Sonja Hyrkania's Legacy. Well, as it's recommended in the rulebook, I've got the castle. You place all the characters that you're going to be playing with in the castle. Now there has to be a minimum of 2. If you're playing a solo game, you will still need 2 characters. Now, I have left out the desert cards and tiles, as I wanted to show the setup for people that may not have the deluxe expansion. Now what you want to do is place the castle probably on the farthest place that you can on the table, because you're going to be building out this way as you explore the land of Hyrkania. Now you're going to need the encounter deck for all of the different terrain types that you have. I've got the 5, as you can see right here. And then we have a nice stack of the reinforcement, the spare tokens, wound tokens, and the different enemy types. I just have the witches stacked on top of the demons because there are less of them. Now you're going to want to have your item cards and your equipment cards. And actually, I'm just going to move my hero over because you need to reveal 3 equipment cards. Now these cards are going to make up the marketplace, and they are the cards that you can acquire when you're able to purchase a card or through a chance encounter. So those will be set up, and just so you know, everyone, I am really setting this up in a very tiny space. We can do the how to play. I'm going to try to spread it out just a little bit more, maybe move a few things off camera. Now, what I do have off camera and you're going to want to keep nearby is the big bad and their, sorry, I grabbed the cooling gas token. I forgot that they are not double-sided. So the big bad, their token, you want to have that someplace in your play area. Main reason why is to see if they have any ongoing effects. For example, this one has no ongoing effects with the celestial one. It's just a when appears effect. But if we take a look at Dark Anissa, during the enemy phase, we have an ongoing effect, meaning you need to have this visible for you after you set up the game. Now, you've showcased that. I'm just going to move it out of the way. And that's really all you need to do to set up the game. Now we'll just take a look at how you set up your characters. And each character gets 3 destiny tokens that they start with, as well as 3 actions. Now when you are playing with any players less than 4, what you do is you take however many less players you're playing with, and you take their destiny tokens and actions and split them up among the other players. So for example, in a 3-player game, you would have 4 actions and a total of 4 destiny tokens. A 2-player game, you would go up to an extra, let me just do the math here in my head. So you have a total of 12 actions. Yeah, you go up to a total of 6 actions and 6 destiny tokens in that case. And that is really how you set up the game. You're going to want your nice player reference card nearby. And we're ready to start placing tiles and moving out and exploring Hyrkania. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean some stuff up, reposition a few things, and we're going to teach you how to play the game. Now we're going to teach you how to play Red Sonja. Now I've zoomed out to give myself more room to teach you the game. I have just taken the enemy tokens and they are now placed off camera. Same thing for Loki. And just for those of you looking at how to play and didn't see the setup, Loki does not have any ongoing effect during the mission. He just has his retaliate, meaning we don't really need to have him in our field of view for the first mission. Now, what is our objective? We'll take a look at the rulebook quickly. And this is Wrath of the Gods. The quest difficulty is introductory. What we need to do is find a special clearing that is surrounded by mountains, and then Loki will show up. Now we must also collect 5 reinforcement tokens in order to win the game. Just want to note here, this is not possible technically by the rules. I have talked with the designer and he's given some suggestions as having 4 mountains adjacent to 4 trees, or replacing one of these forests with a river, which would technically fit with what you're trying to do with regards to getting into a clearing. It's not exact, but they are looking at bringing out a new version of the rulebook. That's just why I'm highlighting it here. In any case, there's a few ways to play it, or you can just house rule it, create that mountain range, and then fill in the trees afterwards. Now, how is this going to work? Well, I've got my player reference card here. We've got the player turn. We have our actions and fighting. Now, we've got a list of all the actions and all the free actions that we can do. So let's take a look at what we want to do. And we're going to start with the explore action. Now, the reason for that is we can't do any of the other ones before exploring. So I'm going to go through just playing the game and explaining what I'm doing as it happens. Now we're going to start with Red Sonja. You'll notice that this is a 3-player setup, meaning each character has 4 actions and 4 destiny tokens. characters may not have more destiny tokens than they start with. Now, if they are spent, they are able to reacquire them. Now, what's important is when you start off from the castle, as you can see right here, you may only place plains or forest tiles. And this just shows you how you can move. So we'll go over that a little bit more as we play the game. Now, first thing I'm going to do is have Red Sonja step out onto the plains. Now we will place the plains here, and Red Sonja will go here. Now, you'll notice that we have the market here, which means that if I have any monster tokens to spend, those are the costs right there, 2 Zeta, 1 Zeta, 1 Undead. I could buy items at this location provided there are no enemies on it. Now I will flip over one of Red Sonja's actions. She has moved into the plane space. We draw a plains encounter card, and let's see what happens. Well, this is actually fairly good. You are assaulted by dreams of fierce combat, gain 1 destiny. Well, unfortunately, we haven't spent any destiny. Now, if we have to roll the stones of chance, we'll roll 4 of them. We can potentially gain 1 item card or gain an equipment card. If we fail, we will take 1 wound. So I'm going to put that down, take our 4 stones of chance. Let's roll and see what we get. Well, we've got absolutely nothing. Now, once per action phase, and this is the action phase right now, Red Sonja may re-roll any number of stones of chance. We'll try again. And that did not go very well. Well, we can then spend a destiny token to re-roll as many stones of chance as we would like. We'll try again. Not successful. This is the despair token. I'll just replace it with a destiny token. And she should actually have 4. So we'll make sure that we give the right number. That was no good. I really want an equipment card. Try again. And, well, maybe not getting the equipment card, but I will at least gain an item. And that's better than taking a wound. So we now draw an item card. We see what it is. So it is the map. We can discard this card to explore a realm without drawing an encounter card. So what I'm going to do, just so I don't have everything too cluttered and you're visible, this is going to go off just off camera over there right next to Red Sonja. She's got the item card. Now players may take their actions and free actions in any order. I'm now going to take this card and just discard it. We will not be needing it again for this game. Now once again, we have some different things that we can do. So we'll look at the player reference card. We can move to an adjacent realm tile. So it's not the smartest thing, but let's say Ayla and Nias wanted to move. They can just move by spending an action and join Red Sonja on the plains. Now, we really need to explore some more. Let's have Lila reveal another plains card. Well, not plains card, plains tile. She will move on to the tile as you do when you reveal it. And then we have another plains encounter. In this case, a pair of cultists approach, demanding tribute. Place 2 cultists on this realm tile. Now, you will place 2 cultists. You may either, as it's not clear in the rules, place cultists like this and like this, totaling 2, or place the double. Now, the reason why this is important is if you run out of enemy tokens, because once you acquire them, they stay on player boards, what will happen is you can lose them. Let's say we had all the cultists on the player boards, we needed a cultist, well, Ali and Nice would lose one of their cultists. However, early on in the game, it's not necessarily that much of a big deal. So now we need to roll the realm of chance, the stones of chance, and let's see what we get. Once again, we have our 4 stones. So we need 3 results, and we got the boot, which is good. We might as well spend a destiny token to try again. And we got a whole lot of nothing. I'm still going to try again because I would love to get an equipment card. We're getting closer. We'll try this one more time. No good. Spend another destiny token. I want that equipment card. Go all out. And we end up with nothing. No, that's disappointing. We then have failed. We would discard 1 equipment card if we had one. And she is now not in the greatest position, but one of the reasons why I did that was to show you what we can then do with one of the other actions. Don't forget, players can talk and interact in any order that they choose. She may spend one or more actions to regenerate destiny tokens. Now, what are free actions? Let's take a look. So free actions would be trading. So when you're in the same space as a player, you may give or exchange items, equipment, and enemy tokens, which is going to be a big part of the game, and we'll talk about that in a second. You may use your character's special ability, or you may fight challenging enemies. As you can see here, it says challenging enemies does not require an action. Okay, so Lala's on a space with cultists. Let's try to fight the cultists. I don't think this is going to go well, but we'll try anyway. Roll the stones a chance, and we get absolutely nothing. We can spend a destiny token to try again. We roll again, we get nothing. That means we are going to take 2 wounds. We take a wound for each enemy that is still on our tile. I'll reach over and grab the wounds. As she's close to falling, we now have a couple of options. We may either retreat one's zone, or we can stay and continue the fight until we die. As we are outnumbered, it's not a good thing to do. Now, just to give you guys an example of what would happen, like, for example, in the enemy phase, if these 2 guys were in the same tile as our 3 heroes, they actually wouldn't take any damage. So on the enemy phase, you've got a nice grid of what the enemies do. And just so you know, the enemies do not move. Unless there's a special event that will make them move, or you move them with the encounter cards, they will not move. So keep that in mind. Take a look at the enemy activations. Sometimes just moving into a region may help out another player. But in this case, we've got 2 cultists left, and it's not looking good. But wait, Ayla and Nias may use their special ability to remove 2 enemy tokens that are in the same realm as they are. As they are in the Plains realm, they can just remove the 2 enemy tokens, and they then acquire them onto their board. So we've got no more enemies. Now, let's keep investigating. I think we should check out a forest, and we'll use Red Sonja, and we'll place the forest in a different spot here. I'm going to just spend 2 actions, so she moves here, and we'll then reveal a forest, and we found the Blessed Healer, but we now do have a forest encounter, and let's see what we get. In this case, place 2 cultists on the realm tile. Now, what's happening is a pair of shady characters ask you for information on Fa and the Resistors. Now, if you betray the Resistors, you are rewarded with a gift from the Celestial, and you will gain 1 equipment card and 1 despair. If you attempt to fight, you suffer a glancing blow but manage to acquire a useful item, gain 1 item card. Now, this is where the game gets tough decisions, as you really need to be able to roll the different symbols. I'm actually going to betray the Resistors. I'm going to discard this. I'm going to take a despair token, meaning we are closer to losing. Once there are 6 despair tokens in the castle, you lose. And I'm going to acquire an item card. Now, just looking at what we often need in combat, I'm going to take the Zeta Spear, meaning that Red Sonja will now have automatically a crown. I'm not going to keep this on camera. I'm going to put this off camera with our map. When we do have an encounter or fight, I will bring it out to make sure it's relevant. Once we've acquired an equipment, we draw another card. And just want to make sure those were her 2 actions, but we do still have the 2 cultists, and this time I'm going to place these guys like this on the card. And looks like I'm going to need to fight them. The Zeta Spear is not going to help me, but let's try to see if we can take one of them out. And luckily enough, we get the 2 crowns. And I could spend Destiny to try to push my luck, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to take the wound and fall back. Don't forget, fighting's a free action. We'll flip this over so there's now only 1 cultist left. I have taken a wound, but I may spend an action to recover, which would let me heal a wound. Now, there are specific rules about how you place your tiles, and we'll take a look quickly at the rulebook in this regard. I don't want to spend too much time on it as it's a little complicated. But as you can see, examples sorry, they're after the promotions, on how you would properly place things that have specific rules, which is the forest tile, the swamp tile, the river tile, and the mountain tile. So if I want to place a forest, it has to go adjacent to as many forests as possible. And we'll just showcase what that would be. So we'll have Ayla and Nias move one more. That'll cost them one. Spend another action to move into the forest. And we cannot place the forest here because we have one here, so it has to go in the closest location. They will then move into the location. We will have our encounter. And we must place a demon on this tile. Oof, that's not necessarily very good. They're fairly hard to kill with 3 symbols. And from deep within the woods, an ancient powerful force approaches. Now I may stand and face the unholy creature, but I would take 2 wounds and fully restore my destiny. If I attempt to flee, I'll take 1 wound. I'm just going to take the wound. There's no point in trying to beat the guy. Now, you're going to have to fight him because he's occupying the same space. When there are enemies in the same space as you, you're not able to just flee or run away. So we'll give it a shot and let's see what we get. Well, we've got the crown and the boot, meaning we just need the battle axe. I'm going to spend the destiny token and let's see if we can get to come up. And that was quite... I rolled them. I had the crown. I picked up the wrong ones. My apologies. So in any case, we had the crown. We had the boot. These were legit rolls, even though I picked up the dies I wanted to keep. And we have successfully defeated the demon, and I would spend my last action to recover. Now we go into the enemy phase. What happens during the enemy phase, we check to see if there's any enemy encounters. Now, as there's only 1 cultist left here, just to give you an example, if Ayla and Nice had been there, we take a look. Characters in a region containing more cultists than characters take 1 wound. So in this case, they'd be safe. There are no more cultists than characters, but that's just an example. We then place another despair token in the castle, and we then refresh. Well, forgot Lila had another action, so I got a little ahead of myself. We just heal her wound, just getting it caught back up. So in case you place the despair token in the castle, we reset everyone's actions. Now, according to some issues with the rules, and if you take a look at the Deep One's abilities, you probably want to reset everyone's actions actually at the start of the enemy phase. And that's how you play a turn. And we're good to go. We are going to start our turn and keep playing. Now, what I want to talk about is some of the special tiles and the interact actions. Now, for example, and we're going to say Lila, and just to make this simple, I'm going to take a Zeta token, I'm going to put it right here, and if she would like to spend an action interacting, she could then purchase the Warrior's Necklace because it cost 1 Zeta token. Meaning she removed the necklace, now she has it. Anytime she is taking a challenge, she has the dragon symbol. So that's one example. You would then, once again, redraw another card. I'll just put everything back. So that is the interact action for the market tile. Now, with regards to the Blessed Healer, the healer tile, I don't know why I call it Blessed Healer. If there was no cultist there, you can interact and heal all of your wounds, meaning if she had 2 wounds, she could heal both of them, which is basically you economizing 1 action, because otherwise it would have cost you 2. You can never heal 3 because you can't have 3 wounds at a time. If you have 3 wounds, you are fallen. Now, let's take a look at a blacksmith tile, and to do that, I'm just going to pick up the plains tiles, and we're going to reveal the other things. So we'll say we have the reinforcement tile here, and the blacksmith tile. So what happens with the blacksmith tile? Well, you may lose equipment. It could become discarded and it would no longer be for any character. If, for example, Lila was at the blacksmith, she may spend an action to take any weapon that was discarded, not pay its cost, and add it to her character. So that's why the blacksmith is good. Now, when you come to the reinforcement space, you may interact, and then what you can then do is you spend the enemy tokens shown on it. So in this case, it is Zetas. So you would have to spend the Zeta enemy tokens, if we had any, to remove one despair token from the castle or add one reinforcement token to the castle. Now this is where the game gets challenging because you need to find and fight the monsters, you need them to buy equipment, but you also need them to manage your despair in the castle. And as you can see, succeeding at challenges is very difficult. And essentially, that's it. That's how you're going to be playing the game. Those are the different actions that you can do. Now let's take a look at a free action, the other one, the trade action. So Red Sonja and Xylus are right there. She could trade the Zeta Spear to, I said Xyas, I meant Ayla and Nias. She could trade them the spear. But don't forget, you may only have one of each type of equipment. So one weapon, one accessory, and there is armor in the deck. And there you have it. Those are the free actions: trade, special, and fight. Don't forget you can fight as much as you want. You may interact, as we just went over with the different tiles. You may recover to heal a wound. You may explore to place a new tile, or you may just move. And that's Red Sonja, Hyrkania's Legacy. I'm going to try to get through the assaulting hordes of enemies, and I will get back to Julie's side. I'm going to come at you with a review of the game. Red Sonja, Hyrkania's Legacy. What did you think of the game? And I'm definitely curious. We've played it a few times, and I'm wondering how you feel about it.
Well, it feels a little different. I think you said it in the intro. No two games is ever going to be the same because the tiles can come out differently, and there's different quests.
And I just want to highlight, we played the introductory scenario a few times to really get a feel for the game. We haven't gone on to play the other scenarios as of yet. And not one of them played similarly.
No. Well, we've played it 3 players, and we've played it 2 players with 4 characters.
Yeah, and then I've also played it solo. So we've got a fair bit of this game under our belt. Just not a lot of variety in terms of the scenarios.
I think playing it 3-player and playing it with 4 characters or 2 players is pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. I would say that I did find a difference with having 4 characters being able to move across the map. I did feel that it was a little bit easier to achieve objectives and explore.
Even though you get less actions per person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was interesting. The characters each have one ability, and I think some of them are definitely stronger abilities than others.
There's no comparison. I think one thing that we will say, the characters are not balanced.
No, so you have to make sure you have those characters every time you play, otherwise it's not going to be fun. So you want to tell people which characters they should be taking?
Well, we haven't played with all the characters, but the character that I think we found that made the most difference, we picked them from the first game, and I cannot imagine playing the game without them, are the twins of, I'm going to try to pronounce it right, Ayla and Nias, who has the special ability of being able to defeat 2 enemy tokens anywhere in their realm. Now, a realm means all of the same tiles, and they're all connected, which just gives you a huge advantage. You're able to help out your allies, and as you need to turn in tokens to get the reinforcement tokens, and also eliminate the despair that's falling over Hyrkania, it's just an ability that I don't see the game being as fun without it, especially with regards to the way the Stones of Chance can fall.
Yeah. And I think Red Sonja also, the fact that she can every turn she can re-roll once. I think that's also been helpful.
No, it's very helpful because it essentially means she has the equivalent of an extra action. Because for those of you that watch how to play, your actions will be spent buying destiny tokens and getting things that will let you re-roll.
So I thought that was fun. I think the characters are fun. The equipment and the items add a little bit of a dynamic to it. Obviously, you need that equipment, otherwise you're never going to beat the big bad. That's quite obvious. So I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a fun game.
The one thing I will say is I don't like how easy it is to lose equipment, because it can happen very fast during an encounter. You just get a terrible rule, and that's it. You lose your sword. It's a little bit thematic in terms of exploration, and for anyone that's familiar with Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age, as well as the Red Sonja comics, you often do see characters getting, they're heroes, but they don't always win. They usually get away alive, but they don't always win. But I did like the fact that once you find the blacksmith tile, it does make it a lot easier to get that equipment back. I will say that my biggest gripe with this game, and I think it came out more when I played solo, and I don't think I would ever play this solo, is the Stones of Chance can definitely not go your way, and if you're controlling multiple characters, to constantly be throwing the dice and having them just turn on you, it gets old really quick, and I don't think I'd want to play it again. I've definitely enjoyed the experience a lot more playing with 3 players and with just the 2 of us with 4 characters. I think the game probably shines the most at that 4-player character count. I think Team Lynnvander's done a great job of figuring out how to play with less players without changing the game at all. But I still think you're going to have the best experience with 4 characters. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
I think so. And I think also to mitigate that chance factor when the dice are just not rolling with you, if you've got 4 people playing, I think it's less frustrating. I think that's one of the things I found when we were playing with 3 people. When somebody's having bad rolls, typically somebody else is rolling well, and that makes it easier because we're playing cooperatively and everybody together, so it feels a little bit less frustrating. But when, like you said, when you're rolling, when you just the die just really aren't rolling in your favor, then it gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, and you can go down. Like, in this game, you will be defeated. You're going to lose items. You can't be afraid of that. If you're the kind of player that does not like having rolls go against you and then having to adapt, well, this probably is not the game for you. And I definitely want to play through all the scenarios. This is not my favorite game, but I do like what Team Lynnvander has done. I do see what their objective was when they created the game, and the exploration aspect and the encounters, I think, was really fun and probably my favorite part of the game. I would just like to feel a little bit more heroic at times.
Yeah, I don't think you, and there's no upgrade of your, at least that I've seen, of your characters besides the equipment.
There's no campaign mode, if that's what you're wondering.
So basically, I think I'd say I agree that I thought the encounters were fun in the sense that some of the encounters are absolutely horrific in the sense that, there's no good option. You're going to lose no matter what. And then there are other encounters that are it's like, oh, wow, I'm lucky no matter what. Something good's going to happen in this. But generally speaking, most of them is something a little good or something a little bad can happen, but they both have both extremes. So you're always taking a chance when you're taking an encounter.
And you have to. There's almost no way around it.
Yeah.
I would say the only other drawback that I really found to the game was the ability to get item cards. I didn't find on any play that we were really diving into that item deck, and I think that would make a big difference. On our last play, we definitely used it more, but just the fact that you have to venture back to the marketplace sometimes is slowing you down so much that you just don't get enough of them out. Whereas when you're beating encounters and succeeding, when the Stones of Chance are nice, you're often acquiring equipment and leveling up, not leveling up, but strengthening your character for the encounter with the main villain. What did you think about the art?
It's not really my style, but it's not, I can see...
sort of that classic 1970s fantasy look that they're going for.
Yeah.
So I like the art. I like the character art. I'm not as big a fan of the board and the tile art. I do think it's a little generic. I really enjoy Hyrkania Castle. I like the fact that it's 3-dimensional. I like the fact that there's a nice storage solution for it. And overall, I have to say, I do enjoy the game. And I think we've talked about the game enough. I just want to stress that the strength of the game are the exploration, the fact that no game is going to feel the same. I do like the wide variety of equipment and items that you get, which I think is a big plus. Now, there are some expansions for the game. I know that some of them may have been Kickstarter exclusive, and some may be coming to retail in the future. We haven't even tried some of the stuff with regards to the desert. Hopefully, maybe we'll see a Conan version of this at some point. But are you ready to score the game?
Sure, I think I'd give it a 7.
Give it a 7? I'd agree with you. I'm going to give this game a 7 as well. And if I was reviewing it as a solo game, it probably would be a little lower. But I think this game is a solid 7. It's fun to play. You're going to have a good time getting it out with a group of people, especially if you have players that enjoy challenging games, because this is not always going to go your way. And just one suggestion I would have, if you are the kind of player that gets a little frustrated and it's not in the rulebook, and I don't know if this was a variant, because I do know Team Lynnvander has produced game variants in the past to go from medium, easy, hard, they have all of that. There are 2 extra stones of chance. And I would say if this is the kind of game that you want to experience, but you want a little more chance, throw 6 dice, and I think you'll probably find the experience a little more pleasurable than rolling 4. But that being said, the only way I'd probably start rolling 6 is if, things just go completely south, like they did for you during your first turn.
Yeah.
All right, Julie, so what can people expect now?
Well, you can expect links to other videos, other reviews we've done in the past.
There'll also be a link to the Red Sonja unboxing for those of you that want to see just what the storage solution is like. Unfortunately, great storage solution, doesn't fit as well with the expansion content. But for retail, number 1.
Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know when we have new content for you.
Yes, and if you would like to see us do a playthrough of the game, I know that we have one of our regular viewers, Flip Movie Maker. Thank you for commenting on the video. He wants to see or she, let me be sure, just because I'm about to say that we don't see that in the comments, would like to see a playthrough of Red Sonja. Please let us know in the comments below. With that being said, we are going to grab our drinks. Oh, did you remind them about the social media feeds?
No, you do that normally.
Yes. Social media feeds also down below in the video description. Grab our drinks, grab our best friend, grab our weapons.
Yeah, you've been taking a liking to that Instagram artsy fartsy shots.
Hey, you're the photographer. I picked it up from you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, keep playing games.
Keep playing games.